Hey, this is TK11697, and today I'm going to be covering Shoretroopers from the new Star Wars movie Rogue One, which has not been released yet, and so we do not have a ton of material to go by, although there have been costumes and a lot of press releases that have been seen since Celebration. Here on the right, I have one helmet made in resin from 850 Armor Works. And on the left, the black helmet is from Tripon. I hope I'm saying that name correctly. And it's going to be made out of fiberglass. I wanted to go over the two. Actually, I have a third helmet on the way, but it's not here and it's not going to be here for a little while, and I didn't want to wait. So I'm going to cover these two helmets since they seem to be from two popular armor makers. Obviously, the first big difference is that they are one's made of resin, one's made of fiberglass. The resin one, the gray one from 850 Armor Works, I have not worked with a ton of resin, actually, and I've worked with no fiberglass. Jim's entire kit, now I bought two complete kits, not just the helmets. Jim's entire kit is made out of fiberglass, and I'll be going into the actual bits of armor in another video. The resin helmet, that's the only part that's resin. Everything else is made out of black ABS, which I'm sure 99% of the people that already do Star Wars costuming are familiar with. So down to the details. If we're looking at the gray 850 helmet, here's a pretty detailed go around of it. Looks like it was glued together. Or maybe that's just the way the resin was printed. Maybe that's just the way the mold was, actually. So there's a few things that need to be removed. I didn't touch these helmets at all. These are right out of the box. Obviously, it's up to the builder to fix a lot of these small things, and that's completely to be expected from this level of detail. So it looks good. It looks very clean. I'll try to zoom in on what happens here with resin. You can see there's the strokes. I guess how the mold was made needs to be sanded down. That's not a big deal. As a matter of fact, both helmets need to be sanded down. I guess the visor that would go across the front here is ABS. It's separate. The detail, this is integrated. The snout is integrated along with these I guess these are aerators. They're integrated into the helmet itself. You don't need to buy anything separate. And they're part of the helmet. Detail is pretty good. I've looked at a ton of Rogue One Shoretrooper reference photos in the last 24 hours just to make sure that everything was like, up to what I suppose the CRL would be. Under the helmet details, it's a pretty basic, which is fine. The shape of the eyes are different, but again, I'm not sure if that really matters so much because they're similar, just a little different. The biggest difference between this helmet and Jim's helmet is that Jim's helmet is wider, while the 851 is longer. As a matter of fact, the diameter of the helmet is 9.5 inches. The diameter of Jim's helmet is 10.5 inches. The neck diameter, which that's how you get the helmet. I've drilled some pilot holes, and I've used a pencil to give my best guess of how the helmet should be trimmed, or how much material I should remove, based on photos from Celebration. The neck diameter, which is how much space you're going to have to get your head in the helmet, is 7 inches roughly. And it's 11 inches long from the snout here to the back. It's 11 inches. Jim's helmet is 10.5 inches across. It already drilled that already has no material in it. You see the fiberglass. You see the spun fibers in there. Jim's helmet is 8 inches across. So you have an extra inch in diameter, but the length of the helmet is 10 inches. For people with bigger heads, that's going to make a difference. For me, I have a huge head. Jim's helmet will probably fit better, although the 851 I assume will fit. The total circumference of the helmets, 34 inches for Jim's, 33 inches for the 851. Very similar. That's not a big deal. A big issue, or not a huge issue, but something that should be considered is the vision slit here, where the visor would be, you know, from this side over to this side. Because of the narrowness of the 850 helmet, the vision slit's 7.5 inches, and it's 1.25 inches at its maximum height. Jim's is about 1.5 inches at its maximum height, and 8 to 8.25 across. So you're going to have more area to look through. Again, it's a bigger helmet, and just the way this is more shaped, it's a more circular shape, while this is more oval shaped. So I guess that's to be expected. I've noticed while looking at reference pictures, the snout and aerator details here this top part is much more accurate in terms of what we saw at Celebration. Jim's comes with the pieces need to be put on. Now they come separately. To the right, the black pieces are the ones that come with the kit. The left are ones that I had 3D printed and look a lot better. I'm going to go with the 3D printed one, and we're going to put it up be like that. Still, because of this curve piece here, this is screen accurate. This flat part here, not screen accurate. I just hope that it's not going to be a big deal. As you see the quality, I have two different aerator tips. One has smaller holes and one has much bigger holes. I am going to put a working mic into mine, so that's how I'm going to project sound, and that was another consideration for the 3D printing one. At this level of detail from Shapeways, I think I paid $65 for this print, whereas what came with Jim's obviously is just it's part of the kit. All right, now a close look at Jim's helmet. Weight. Weight is maybe it's the resin. Like I said, I don't work with resin too much, or not much at all for costuming. This helmet weighs 2 to 3 times as much as Jim's. I don't know if it's because fiberglass is lighter, or resin is heavier, or just the thickness of the material, but when I pick this helmet up, this will be the heaviest helmet I have ever put on, including combat helmets. So I'm not sure. Maybe I'm going to remove some more material from this. It's not a bad thing, but it does kind of limit my options with it. I would say that because it's smaller, I was considering giving it to someone else, like, you know, my wife, kids, something like that. I don't think they would be able to tolerate that kind of weight on their head, which is unfortunate because then it might be a little small on me. And so I haven't drilled it out yet. This is purely a review. Maybe it won't be an issue, but and maybe when I remove this material, it should lose a bunch of weight. Like I said, it comes with a bunch that needs to be taken off. But it's a very heavy helmet. I don't have weights. I don't have a scale just yet. I should probably take those measurements, but not for this video. All right, so Jim's. Let's put this one in the light. Jim's helmet. Different details. I've noticed. I think that you know, people had different interpretations of what they saw, but overall the same. Very clean cut. There's, of course, with both helmets, there's a little bit of pitting and stuff that needs to be filled in, but that is to be expected. Let's take a look at the top and the sides. Again, looks pretty good. Obviously it was joined and sanded down, I suppose. The bottom here's some differences, and I should get the other helmet back up here. Talk about differences. I'm not sure what is the most screen accurate here. I said these pieces are integrated down here. That's perfectly fine. I would just be careful about putting the helmet down because it might, you could chip these pieces down here. Jim's has a recess in there where you add your own, or if you want to print your own, or say they break and you want to replace them, that's a nice option. Again, we've covered the snout. The snouts, this one is far more accurate. This one, we're going to have to do another 3D model, I think, to kind of fix that. Under the visor, with Jim's here, I'll see if you can see it. There's more detail under the visor. It's not absolutely correct detail. It does need to be trimmed out a little bit. This has roughly no detail. Again, not a huge deal. I don't know who's going to be looking under visors, but if we're talking strictly about accuracy, based on the photos I've seen, I think Jim's is a little more accurate. The side here, there is some recessed area with Jim's helmet that connects the, I guess called the visor shield. Here, it's two lines. I'm not sure which is the most accurate. The downside of the snout, again, more accurate up top, but I don't know how I'd remove it. I guess I could try to break it out or Dremel it down, but if I wanted to add a more accurate snout, again, this is supposed to be the accurate one. I don't really have that option without really altering the helmet, which is kind of too bad. Covered weight. I said weight is a big factor. I was very surprised at that. Little details here. Again, kind of sharp edges for Jim's under the eyes. Sort of more rounded edges. The eyes themselves, so the way they go in and how I'm going to cut it out, they're again they're sharper. On this side, they're more rounded, and not sure which is the more accurate or if it even matters. You know, there's a few things here that these are to be expected, that imperfections need to be removed. That's not a big deal. But again, Jim's, this area is recessed. This area is not. And I guess I'll have to look into that. The side by side here, the sizes look a little different for some of the cuts and the whatever this circle thing here is, what it's supposed to be, I guess for the visor. A little bit different in size. Again, very open to interpretation because we don't have a ton of movie stills yet to go by. These air slots in the back, I don't know what to call them, are rounded. Jim's are squared. Don't know if it makes a difference, but I figured I'd point it out. And like I said, Jim's visor this shield here is integrated. I don't know if in the movie it's supposed to be functional. I mean, for all we know, we're going to go to the movies and find out this thing is supposed to drop down and you know, they're supposed to be able to cover their eyes with it, or it's supposed to be some sort of, you know, have some sort of functionality to it. With Jim's, you can't do that because it's part of the helmet. So this one is a separate ABS piece. I guess with a little bit of metalling, it could drop down in front of the eyes. It shouldn't be that big a deal to make that alteration if it were necessary. Like I said, we don't know. And that's about it. And I said, I would definitely say that if you're of the bigger head variety, like myself, Jim's helmet would probably be a better fit. I wear AM 2.0 kits that need to be about 10% bigger because I'm 6'3" and 200 pounds roughly. So I'm a big guy and I need bigger Star Wars costumes. I will say this, and I know this isn't really the focus of this video. The armor for the 850 is amazing, absolutely amazing. I don't know what the fiberglass one is going to be. It's on the way. It should be here in a couple of days. If it's anything like Jim's helmet, I think it's going to be great too. But I'm very familiar with ABS, and the pieces for the 850 Armor Works will be very friendly to anyone that's ever put together a Star Wars costume, like a Stormtrooper or any sort of a ABS costume. Very well detailed. The greeblies look good. Very good kit, and I'll be covering those in a separate detail when I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison. The third helmet I've ordered, by the way, is a backstage props one, but that's going to take a little bit. And I don't know. Like I said, I'll see if I get their whole kit. I got to see about money-wise if that makes the most sense for me. But that's it. That's my review of these two helmets. Both very good helmets. Both have strong points and weak points. And I hope you found this video useful. So next time we see them, I will be into trimming them, and they'll be taking shape. All right, it's TK11697. Thanks.